For our ball work for today, a triangle is cut from a rectangle. Find the area of the shaded region. So we want to get rid of this triangle from our rectangle. When you find the area of the rectangle, what formula are we using?
Base times height divided by B.
And for our rectangle, what's the base? 11, and what's our height? 6. When you multiply those two together, what'd you get? 66. For our area of the triangle, we use what formula?
Base times height divided by 2.
Base times height divided by 2. Our base is 4, and our height is 6. When you multiply 4 times 6, what do you get? 24, and 24 divided by 2 leaves us with 12. What do we have to do with these two values? Would we be adding or subtracting? Subtracting. We found the complete rectangle, and we no longer want that part. So we're taking 66 and subtracting 12 to get 54. And what's our units? Feet squared for area. Okay, the heading of our notes is surface area of prisms. Our targets for today. Students will be able to identify rectangular prisms and triangular prisms and find the surface area of prisms. When finding surface area, there are two ways to solve. You can use the net of your shape, so unfold your prism and find the area of each shape and add the shapes together, kind of like composite figures, or you can use the formulas. The two types of prisms that we are focusing on are rectangular prisms and triangular prisms. So the way you identify the prism is by the shape of the base. If the base is a triangle, it's a triangular prism. If your base is a rectangle, it's a rectangular prism. Remember, in a prism, your lateral sides are rectangles. So for a rectangular prism, it's made up of all rectangles. And for a triangular prism, we would have two what? If the bases are triangles and the sides are rectangles, two would be triangles. And we would have 3 rectangles. The formulas given to you right here are the formulas out of your textbook, but you are given a different formula on your FSA reference sheet. So we're going to use this formula for surface area. And that formula is surface area equals P times H plus 2 times capital B. P is our perimeter of the base. So if it's a rectangular prism, you have a rectangular base. If it's a triangular prism, you have a triangular base. You multiply your perimeter times the height, and then you're going to add 2 times the area of the base. It's important that this be is capital. It is not just your base, it is the area of the base. So for triangles, you're going to use base times height divided by 2. And if you have a rectangular prism, you're just going to use base times height. Okay, when we look at number 1, what shape do we have? We have a prism. Our base is a rectangle, so we have a rectangular prism. Since it's a prism, we're using our formula. Surface area equals perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. I like to solve for my different parts of the formula off to the side before plugging them in. So for P, we're finding our perimeter. And for the perimeter of the base, how would we find that? We'd have to add all the sides around this rectangle. So we're adding 10 plus 3, and then this side would also be 10 and 3. When you add them all together, what do you get?
26.
26. So we know that our perimeter is 26. For our height, what is the height of our prism? 6 is the height of our rectangular lateral sides. And for area of the base, since our base is a rectangle, we use what formula? Base times height. And we're finding the area of the base, so we're using 10 times, we want the area of the bottom, we're looking at just this rectangle. So 10 times 3, and that gives us 30. Okay, go ahead and plug in your values into your formula. P we know was 26, H is 6, bring down our plus 2, and our area of the base is 30. Our next step would be to do what with these numbers? Do we multiply or add? What comes first in order of operations? Multiply. So 26 times 6 gives us 156. And what's 2 times 30?
60.
60. Now we're on to adding. We need to add 60 plus 156, and what do we get?
216.
216. Our units are meters, and since it's area, it's meters squared. For number 2, same formula, and we're still going to break down and find each one of these parts before plugging them in. For our perimeter, when you add all 4 sides of the base, you're adding 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11, and what do you get?
44.
44. What is our height of our prism? 11. And our area of the base, we multiply base times height, which is 11 times 11, and what do we get?
121.
121. We are then going to plug that into our formula. So for P, we have 44, and we're multiplying that by our height, which is 11. And then we're going to add 2 times our area of the base, which is 121. What is 44 times 11? 484. And what is 2 times 121? 242. And our last step would be to add them together. And when you add these two together, we get 726. Our units are millimeters squared. When you look at number 3, what type of prism do we have? Triangular prism. Are we going to use the same formula?
No. Yes.
Yes, our formula was for all prisms. So we have perimeter times the height plus 2 area of the base. Remember, if we have a triangular prism, the triangle is what we're going to use for our base. When I find the perimeter of the base, I'm finding the perimeter of the triangle. So I trace one side of my triangle and I have 3. When I trace this side, what's the length of this side of the triangle?
2.5.
2.5. And if you notice, they have the marks that they're congruent. So if this is 2.5, this side right here is going to be 2.5. So when we add these 3 numbers together, we get what for perimeter? 8. Now, for our height of our prism, you want to look at the height of your rectangle lateral sides, and what's our height? 4. And for our capital B, this time for our area of the base, we have to do what? Since we have a triangle, we have to divide by 2. So base times height, what's our base of the triangle? 3. And what's our height of the triangle?
4. 2.
Looking at the triangle, our height is 2, and then we have to divide by 2. This cancels and we get 3. So we can go ahead and fill in our values into the formula. Perimeter, we got 8. Our height is 4. And we're adding 2 times 3. Our area of the base. What is 8 times 4? 32. And what is 2 times 3? 6. When we add these two together, we get 38, and our unit is going to be centimeters squared. Okay, go ahead and try number 4 on your own.